Hello everyone. Hope you are ready for another lecture. Great. So today we are going to talk about the recent renaming of Port Blair to Sri Vijaya Puram. Now this isn't just about a name switch. Okay, it is rooted in our history, culture and politics, and it is incredibly important for your UPSC preparation, particularly in GS paper 1, where you will encounter questions about the India's freedom struggle, about the historical significance of this, or how this change reflects India's broader strategies. Okay. First off, why is Port Blair being renamed now? Well, the government's decision reflects an effort to eliminate or erase the colonial legacies and recognize India's own rich heritage. Okay. The new name Sri Vijaya Puram honors the Andaman and Nicobar Islands' critical role in our freedom struggle, while connecting it to the ancient chapter of Indian history, the Maritime Empire of the Chola Dynasty and their influence over Southeast Asia. Okay, so this particular renaming is symbolic to reclaim our past and at the same time stepping away from the colonial influence. So it is very crucial to understand both from the historical and the current context here. Okay. Now let's rewind a little bit. Okay. Port Blair was originally named after Archibald Blair. Okay. Archibald Blair, who was one of the first to map the Andaman Islands in the 18th century for the East India Company. Okay. Before that, it was called Port Cornwallis, named after another British figure known for his military exploits. So, why change from Cornwallis to Blair? After some time, they decided to honor the person who actually explored the island, and thus it became Port Blair. Now, here is something interesting. At the same time, the British were trying to control the region's notorious Malay pirates. Okay. The Malay pirates who often raided the coastal villages. So, establishing their presence on the Andamans helped them in this effort. So, Port Blair became their strategic hub. Okay. Fast forward to 19th century, and Andaman Island took on a much darker role in the India's freedom struggle. So, after the revolt of 1857, the British turned this island into a penal colony. Okay. Here's where the infamous cellular jail or the Kala Pani enters the picture. It became a site of unimaginable suffering for many of our freedom fighters. Some of the bravest souls who fought for our freedom were imprisoned here. Let me mention a few key figures. Okay. First one is Veer Savarkar. Veer Savarkar, a freedom fighter, writer and a poet who was sentenced to 2 life terms in prison here. Despite the terrible conditions, Savarkar wrote prolifically about the India's freedom struggle, inspiring many through his works, including the First War of Indian Independence, which discusses about the 1857 uprising. Okay. Next, Sachendra Nath Sanyal, Sachendra Nath Sanyal. He was part of the Gadir party conspiracy and while imprisoned wrote a book Bandi Jeevan, Life of Captivity, which details the brutal realities of prison life and the resilience of prisoners. Despite facing immense suffering, his spirit remained unbroken. Okay. Next, Barendra Kumar Ghosh, a member of the revolutionary movement. He was caught trying to escape from jail in 1915 and spent years in solitary confinement, showing immense courage and strength in the face of adversity. All three of these heroes played vital role in igniting resistance against the British rule, providing that even the imprisonment couldn't crush their spirits. These individuals remind us that the Andaman Island are not just a beautiful tourist spot, but they are symbol of India's fight for independence. Okay. Now let's go back even further in history. Did you know the name Sri Vijaya Puram has its roots in ancient Chola dynasty? The Cholas were powerful South Indian empire. And in 11th century, they used the Andaman Island as a naval base to launch attack on the Sri Vijaya Empire in the Southeast Asia located in the present day Indonesia. Okay. The Cholas were incredibly powerful and famous for their maritime strength. Their naval was one of the most advanced of its time. Okay. Allowing them to control trade routes and expand their empire across the southern India and beyond. Evidence of their naval expeditions can be found in inscriptions and texts such as the Tamil Sangam literature. The Tamil Sangam literature and inscriptions from the Tanjavur, highlighting their maritime power. For your exams, remember these key points. This might pop up as a question in prelims. Okay. Now, why does this renaming matter? Let's break it down. Reclaiming the identity by renaming the Port Blair to Sri Vijaya Puram, India is taking back control of its historical narrative while moving away from the colonial names that don't reflect our own culture or history. Okay. The next one is boosting tourism. Names have power, right? A name like Sri Vijaya Puram evokes a sense of historical grandeur. So, this could boost our tourism to Andaman Islands as more people come to explore their rich history. Okay. On the broader scale, this renaming asserts India's historical connection in the Bay of Bengal and Southeast Asia. It is a subtle but important move in strengthening the India's geopolitical influence. Okay. From a UPSC perspective, this naming touches on India's culture, India's history and foreign policy. But no major change comes without its challenges, right? Let's quickly talk about a few. Local acceptance. The people of Andaman and Nicobar Island are diverse. Not everyone may be excited about the name change. Some may feel attached to the old name, that is Port Blair. Okay. And then about the logistics. Changing the name of a city is no small task. It involves updating official records, documents, maps, and more. This can be time consuming and it is costly. Then there is the historical debate. While the Cholas definitely had influence over the region, some historians debate the extent of their control over the island. Was it a dominant one as we think? This is still up for discussion. Okay. So, there you have it. The renaming of Port Blair to Sri Vijaya Puram is far more than a name change. It is about reconnecting with our past, honoring the sacrifices of our freedom fighters, and reasserting India's place in the global history. Okay. For your UPSC preparation, this is an important example of how history, politics, and culture intersect in the contemporary India. Remember, understanding both the historical significance and the current implications will help you answer those tricky questions in exams. Thanks for sticking with me through the lecture. If you found it helpful, make sure to share it in your study group. Let's keep learning together. See you soon. Bye bye.